That was the exact fucking millisecond this 200-pound road rage psycho slammed his car door open and charged straight at me. He saw my bright delivery jacket, targeted a young courier, and thought I was an easy piece of meat. A complete nobody, he could stomp into the concrete just because his precious fucking eyes couldn't handle my scooter's headlights. But what this motherfucker didn't know is that under this baggy yellow jacket, there's a guy who spent years bleeding inside boxing rings and MMA cages. He thought he was about to hunt a helpless delivery boy. He had no fucking idea his face was sprinting straight into a lightning-fast 1-2 combination that was about to shatter his goddamn jaw. But let's pause for a second and rewind this whole disaster. Welcome to the channel, guys. I created this space for one clear reason: to open up the absolute goldmine of insane, chaotic, and downright trashy stories I've collected over my years of working as a delivery courier out here on the streets. When you spend 10 hours a day, every single day, navigating crazy traffic, dealing with thousands of random people, and surviving the city, you see things that normal people would think are ripped straight from a movie script. Now, let's be totally real for a moment. When you are in the middle of a street fight, getting into a car crash, or dealing with a crazy client who is screaming in your face, the last thing you think about is hitting the record button on your camera. So no, I didn't capture the actual fists flying on my lens tonight. A lot of the craziest, most dangerous shit that happens to me out here never gets recorded on camera. But my memory? My memory is fucking crystal clear. And honestly, looking back at all the madness, it's been a wild, hilarious, and incredibly fun journey to experience. What you see on your screen right now, this smooth, stable view, this is just the backdrop. This is my daily office. But the real action is what I'm about to tell you. Get your popcorn ready, because I have a massive vault of these street confessions waiting for you. If you're down for raw street reality, unfiltered stories, and a lot of dark humor, smash that subscribe button right now. Before I showed that driver what a textbook low kick feels like, my night actually started in the most miserable way possible. It was way past midnight, the end of a brutal, exhausting 10-hour shift. My legs weren't just tired, they felt like 2 blocks of solid frozen concrete. My lower back was killing me from carrying the heavy backpack, and my eyes were burning from looking at the dark roads for hours. And right when I am about 3 kilometers away from my house, at the absolute bottom of the steepest, longest hill in this entire residential district, my electric scooter completely dies. Just a quiet, mocking beep, a total blackout, and the motor shuts off. 0% battery. If you have never tried to push a dead, heavy-ass, full-sized electric scooter up a steep mountain, let me tell you, it is not just physical exercise. It is psychological torture. The damn thing weighs a ton. Without the electric motor helping you, it feels like you're trying to push a dead horse up a climbing wall. Every single meter feels like a mile. I was sweating like a pig in the freezing night air, cursing under my breath, my hands shaking from pure physical exhaustion. But wait, the universe decided that wasn't enough. It needed to make it a perfect fucking storm. While I'm struggling up this endless hill, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out, look down, and it's a text from my girlfriend. She is locked out of our apartment. She forgot her keys when she left the house earlier in the day, and I, like a complete goddamn genius, locked the main door with my own keys before I left for my shift. So now, it's past midnight, it's freezing cold outside, and my girl is literally sitting on the concrete stairs inside the dark hallway of our building, shivering, waiting for me. She's tired, she's cold, and she's been sitting there for hours because I'm stuck working late. I'm dragging this dead metal monster up the edge of the road, keeping my jaw clenched. Even though the main battery was dead and couldn't spin the wheel, the electrical system had just a tiny bit of residual juice left to keep my high-beam LED headlights running. And since this part of the neighborhood had absolutely zero working streetlights, it was completely pitch black. I kept them on. I needed to see where the fuck I was placing my feet so I wouldn't trip on a pothole, and more importantly, I wanted oncoming cars to see me so they wouldn't run me over in the dark. Suddenly, this mid-range sedan comes rolling down the hill from the opposite direction. He drives right past me, and then BAM! He violently slams on his brakes. Ugh. You could hear the tires screeching in the quiet night. The white reverse lights hit my face. He backs up his car right next to me, rolls down his window, and before I can even breathe, this guy starts screaming at the top of his lungs. I mean, the veins on his neck are popping out. He's spitting out of his window, completely losing his mind. He is absolutely furious because my scooter's LED lights are apparently too bright for his precious sensitive eyes. He starts calling me a dumb piece of shit delivery boy and a useless kid who doesn't know how to behave on the street. Now, let's pause right here. Let's analyze the situation. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. I have been pushing a 40-kilogram dead scooter up a literal mountain for 30 agonizing minutes. My girlfriend is shivering on a cold floor outside our apartment because of me. I am starving, exhausted, covered in sweat, and freezing at the same time. And this random asshole, sitting in his warm, comfortable car with his heaters on, looks out his window and decides that tonight is the day he is going to bully a tired courier just to make his small dick feel bigger. Huh. I didn't even hesitate. I didn't try to explain that the street was dark. I didn't say, "Sorry, sir." I stopped pushing, turned my body, looked him dead in his eyes through his window, and yelled with maximum unfiltered venomous disrespect, "Go fuck yourself." The silence that followed that phrase was cinematic. You could literally hear the engine of his car idling in the dark. See, this guy expected me to look down at my dirty shoes, apologize, and turn off the lights. Because to him, a guy with a delivery backpack is a servant, a nobody, a lower class of human. Hearing a young courier tell him to go fuck himself in his face absolutely shattered his fragile ego. His brain short-circuited. He slammed his car door open, jumped out into the street, and started sprinting directly at me like he was fucking Mike Tyson. When you train in boxing and competitive MMA for years, your brain functions differently during a conflict. You don't get scared. You don't feel panic. The adrenaline doesn't make you shaky, it just slows everything down. The world enters slow motion, and everything becomes purely mechanical, tactical. This guy was running at me with his fists clenched, swearing, thinking he was about to beat up a defenseless kid. But what his stupid brain didn't realize was that under my oversized, baggy, loose delivery jacket was a heavily conditioned athletic frame and years of brutal muscle memory. He thought he was the apex predator stepping on an ant. He had no fucking idea he was sprinting face first into a meat grinder. The moment he stepped into my striking range, my reflexes completely took over. I didn't think, my body just acted. I let go of the scooter handle. The heavy scooter fell over, slamming heavily onto the asphalt. Clack! But I didn't give a single fuck about the scooter anymore. My hands instantly snapped up to protect my chin in a tight guard. My chin dropped into my shoulder. My feet shifted into a solid stance, loading up my weight. He threw a wild, sloppy, amateur left hook. It was a garbage punch. It was so slow and telegraphed I could have checked my phone before dodging it. I easily slipped his fist to the inside, creating a beautiful angle, and my boxing muscle memory closed the distance. Boom! Boom! A textbook, lightning fast, crisp 1-2 combination. The left jab landed squarely on his nose, fracturing his vision and blinding him with pain. Before his head could even bounce back, I threw a massive, compact, heavy right cross straight into the point of his jaw. Whack! I felt the solid impact vibrate all the way up my forearm. It was a perfect connection. His head snapped back violently. His eyes went completely vacant, rolling back into his head for a split second. He instantly forgot his name, what year it was, and why the fuck he got out of his comfortable car. He was completely disconnected from reality. Street justice doesn't stop halfway. Before his brain could reboot and realize he was standing up, I stepped offline to the left, rotated my core, and loaded up my hips. If you know anything about MMA, you know about the low kick, a proper, agonizing, bone-crushing leg kick. I swung my right leg like a baseball bat, putting my entire body weight into my shin and chopped it directly into his lead thigh. Crack! The sound of my shin bone breaking into his muscle tissue echoed through the entire residential block. It was beautiful. His leg completely buckled underneath him. His whole body spun around 180 degrees like a broken toy. He stumbled sideways into the dark, his arms flailing wildly in the air, his knees shaking like jelly, desperately trying not to faceplant onto the hard road. He was completely dismantled, broken, and defenseless. It took exactly 4 seconds. I stepped forward, closing the distance. The adrenaline was rushing through my body like pure electricity. All that built-up anger from the dead battery, the 10-hour shift, the cold weather, and my girlfriend waiting on the stairs, it was all concentrated in my right fist. I was fully prepared to absolutely obliterate this guy. I was going to beat him until he was crying, rolling in the dirt, and begging me for his life. I wanted to destroy him so bad that there wouldn't be a single whole piece left of him, making him crawl on his knees and scream for forgiveness. But right as I cocked my right hand back to deliver the final knockout blow, bright headlights suddenly blinded both of us. The second car, which had been driving down the hill behind this idiot, stopped. The driver's door flew open, and a big, heavy-set man came running towards us at full speed. For a fraction of a second, my brain thought, great, now it's a 2-on-1. Fuck it, let's fight both of them. I shifted my weight, ready to engage. But as the second man got closer, I saw the look on his face. It wasn't anger, it was pure, unadulterated shock. He had just watched a guy in a bright delivery jacket completely destroy a road rage bully in a matter of seconds. This second driver literally threw himself right between us. He put his hands up, looked at me with wide, terrified eyes and said, "Bro, please stop, don't kill him, just let it go." He was literally acting as a human shield, protecting that idiot from me, because he knew that if he didn't intervene, that bully was leaving that street in the back of an ambulance. And honestly, that man saved the driver's life. But the absolute best part of the entire night was the bully's reaction. He finally managed to lean against the hood of his car, barely standing, his left leg completely paralyzed from that brutal low kick. The tough, aggressive alpha male who was ready to stomp a courier, gone. Vaporized. He looked at me, saw my fight stance, saw that I wasn't even breathing hard, and he literally started stuttering. He couldn't form a single fucking sentence. His nose was bleeding, his jaw was already swelling up, and he was just shaking his head going, you, the lights. I didn't mean, I don't want trouble. He went from a street gangster to a crying little boy who just got caught by his principal in 3 seconds. The humiliation in his eyes was worth more than any tip I've ever received. He thought I was just an easy target, a weak young courier he could flex on, but he ran face first into reality. I looked at him, spat on the asphalt right next to his shoe, picked up my scooter, and walked away. The scooter got a few ugly scratches on the side panels from hitting the ground, but hey, we survived, and that's all that matters. I pushed that dead machine the rest of the way home, finally opened the door for my freezing girlfriend, made her some hot tea, and we just sat there laughing our asses off about how chaotic this whole night turned out. The moral of the story, guys? We are all out here just trying to get through the day and make a living. You never know what kind of day the person next to you is having or what their background is. So let's just treat each other with a little bit of basic respect on the streets. Stay safe out there on the roads, ride smart, and look out for one another. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next shift.